I want to start with a simple idea. If you really want to understand a person, a relationship, or a business, or a government, don't look at what it says. Look at what it rewards. Because human beings respond to incentives. If you reward a behavior, you get more of it. If you punish a behavior, you get less of it. That's true for kids. That's true for marriages. That's true for workplaces. And it's true for governments. So if a system says it values honesty but rewards silence, it doesn't value honesty. If a system says it values freedom but punishes people for exercising it, it doesn't value freedom. If a system says it respects rights but only protects them when they're convenient, then those aren't rights, they're privileges, and that's the problem. Because the Constitution was never written for convenience. It was written for conflict. The First Amendment protects speech, press, assembly, not just when it's popular, not just when it's comfortable, but especially when it isn't. The Fourth Amendment protects your privacy, not just when it's easy, but when it's inconvenient for those in power. Rights are not there for the easy moments, they're there for the hard ones. So let's talk about something real. We live in a world full of cameras on buildings, cameras in stores, cameras on streets, cameras watching us everywhere we go. And most people don't even think twice about it. But the moment an ordinary person holds a camera, people panic. They get uncomfortable. They call the police. They say they feel harassed. Why? What's the difference? Because it's not about the camera. It's about who holds it. We've become comfortable with institutions watching us, but uncomfortable when we watch them. And that should bother you. Because in a free society, the people are supposed to have the power to observe their government, not the other way around. And here's the truth. A complaint is not a crime. Someone feeling uncomfortable does not make something illegal. Rights do not disappear because someone doesn't like how you're using them. That's not how freedom works. And yet, over and over, we see the same pattern. Someone exercises a constitutional right, and the system steps in, not to protect that right, but to make the discomfort go away. Why? Because of incentives. If an officer's job becomes resolve the situation quickly instead of protect constitutional rights, then what gets rewarded? Control, compliance, convenience, not freedom. And when that happens over and over again, the culture shifts. People start to believe rights are conditional, that you need permission, that you need credentials, that you need approval. But you don't. You don't need a credential to speak. You don't need a license to have an opinion. You don't need permission to observe what happens in public. Freedom of the press isn't about corporations. It's about people. Now let's go deeper. Because this isn't just about cameras, it's about privacy. And people misunderstand privacy all the time. Privacy is not about hiding wrongdoing. Privacy is about being human. It's about being able to think without being watched, to talk without being recorded, to grow, to question, to doubt, to believe, without everything becoming a permanent record. Because without privacy, freedom starts to shrink. People self-censor, they hold back, they stop asking questions, and slowly, you don't even need force anymore, because people regulate themselves. That's the danger. Not just control, but quiet control. Now I want to make this personal, because this isn't just theory to me. Years ago, I started something called the Green Arrow Show. I was younger, rougher, figuring things out. But even then, I had this instinct: question power, speak out, think for yourself. That was the beginning. Over time, that turned into different things: music, ideas, projects. And eventually it turned into something bigger. Verdant. Verdant to me was a long-term vision, a system, a platform, something that could protect people's privacy, their communication, their rights, by design. Something that couldn't easily be corrupted or controlled. And I still believe in that. But here's what I realized. I was so focused on building something to protect people's voices that I wasn't fully using my own. I was thinking about the future instead of recognizing what I have right now. Because the truth is, I don't need a platform to speak. I don't need permission to think. I don't need approval to say what I believe. I can do that now. And so can you. And that changed everything for me. Because it made me realize something simple but powerful. Technology cannot create courage. It can support freedom. It can protect communication. It can make systems stronger. But it cannot make someone speak. That has to come first. People have to understand their rights. They have to value them. They have to be willing to use them, even when it's uncomfortable. Or none of it matters. And that's where I stand now. Verdant is still part of the mission, but it's not the beginning. It's a later chapter. The beginning is this: understanding, clarity, conviction, using my voice, and encouraging others to do the same. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about America. It's not just about politics. It's about humanity. It's about whether people have dignity, whether they have a voice, whether they can live without being constantly watched, controlled, or silenced. And I believe they should. I believe that matters. And I believe it's worth speaking about. So let me end with this. If you want to understand a system, don't ask what it promises. Ask what it rewards. If it rewards truth, courage, and freedom, it's moving in the right direction. If it rewards silence, control, and convenience, then something is broken. And it's our responsibility to say so. Not tomorrow. Not when it's easier. Now. Because your voice matters now. My voice matters now. And whatever we build in the future, whatever systems we create, they will only be worth anything if they are built by people who had the courage to use their freedom before they ever tried to protect it. Stay free. Green arrow out.